want to do. I play harmonica most of the time.
Do you?
Yeah. Used to play a lot of it. Played guitar on a lot of big people records.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s.
Yeah.
I was session musician in California for a long time out there.
Where in California?
LA.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Is that how your daughters ended up living in California?
No.
No.
I wasn't even married at that time.
Yeah.
It was back in the early 60s.
Yeah. You're going, right?
Well, my youngest daughter, the one of them out there she went out there originally. She was going to work for a wine company.
Mm-hmm.
She went to school to be a wine connoisseur and supposed to travel all over the world, and something happened to that, but once she got out there, she just stayed out there. And the other daughter, I don't know how she wound up out there. She was an executive with Pottery Barn.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she somehow, she was married and her husband died and left her a pretty good sized will.
Oh, goodness.
And so she bought a sailboat.
Oh,
42-foot sailboat.
Yeah, your wife
Travel
was
around
telling
the
me
world,
that.
yeah.
I tell you what.
So then she wound up in California. She just stayed there.
She was there. Well, do you mind holding the guitar while we're doing
No,
the
I
interview?
did.
That'd be great.
No, that'd be fine.
That'd be great.
That'd be fine.
Be careful.
Oop.
You got it.
Oh, I gotta have my towel right there.
Oh, okay.
I got that. I'm in good shape.
And then we'll just talk about the old days at Sun Records and Memphis Recording. It was Memphis Recording Studio,
Yeah,
not Sun Studio then.
There was no such thing as Sun Studio
No.
until a few years ago.
No, yeah,
That was,
that's a
very
business thing, a very good business decision, I guess, for the owner. But, well, I guess what brought you to Memphis and Sun Records?
No.
No? Nothing?
I came to Memphis in 54, and opened a restaurant on Poplar Street. My brother-in-law and I opened a restaurant. I wasn't in music professionally. I played a few clubs, just as a fun thing. But I met Jack Clemens, who was building a studio in Memphis. Him and Slim Wallace were building a studio in Memphis on Fernwood Avenue, which the label was Fernwood Records. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but they had some big hits at Tragedy by Thomas Wayne on there. Scotty Moore was one of the owners of it, and some way he was involved in it. And I was supposed to record for that company. And we did. We recorded my first record in that garage where they were building a studio. And Jack Clemens took it over to Sam Phillips to master it. And Sam liked it, and he bought the master from Jack. So I actually became an artist on Sun Records by accident. It wasn't really supposed to be that way.
Well, it was really, so many people think of Memphis Recording Studio as kind of being really the birthplace of a new sound, rockabilly, and then into rock and roll. How do you look at it?
Okay. I had a band called Little Green Men in 1956. This is when I released my first record. And Jerry Lee Lewis was my piano player. He worked in my band as my piano player, and also he was the piano player on that particular song. So our sound, my band, not necessarily with Jerry Lee, but my band was actually the Sun Records sound. We had the sound that we backed everybody. My band backed everybody up there. We worked with Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash, either as a group or individuals. My piano player and drummer worked on practically everything that Johnny did after he started using those instruments. And my piano player worked on, numerous things up there. Drummer J.M. Van Eaton was on everything that happened up there. And as a group and as individuals, we created that sound. And even Sam Phillips admitted that was our sound, And at one point, jokingly told me that he didn't want me to get a hit record because I'd leave town and take the sound away. So I don't know how true that was, but probably was true.
Well, did you know at the time? I mean, I guess you knew you were part of a new sound. Did you
Really,
know what impact it would have?
Really, we didn't know. To be honest with you, I don't think anybody knew what was going on. We were just there to have a good time. We were all young guys, most of us fresh from the country, and we really didn't know what we were doing. I think most of the guys would tell you that. We were there just to have a good time. And of course, we love music, and we love parties, and that's what most of us did, was play music and have parties. But we didn't know at the time. I wish I had have known at the time what was happening in that little studio, because I'd have been rich today.
What about it made some people, there was Elvis, and then, who made it so big, and some people didn't. Some people,
Well,
what do you think?
a lot of things happened there. Sam Phillips was the type of guy. He was a very intelligent guy, but in some ways he wasn't too smart. And I don't mean that as a director. It's just the fact that he couldn't handle too many artists at one time. And when Elvis was there, when Elvis came, of course he had that great stable of blues artists. I mean, name them, and he had them, B.B. King and Howlin' Wolf and all of that. But when Elvis came along, Elvis looked so good and it was happening that he dropped everybody else and put all of his time on Elvis. And when he lost Elvis, Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison they were all there doing great. But then when Jerry Lee came along, and Jerry Lee was so different, well, Sam thought he had another Elvis there, which he could have had. But he dropped everybody else. He quit promoting everybody, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, Carl Perkins, all of us. He just quit and went with Jerry Lee, and which I don't think was a very wise thing to do, because at the time, he had the greatest stable of artists for that kind of music that you could possibly have. Everybody, I'm pretty sure all the other labels were envious of him because of who he had. He had Johnny Cash, which was very unique, Roy Orbison, great talent, Carl Perkins, and then there was a lot of us that came along that was trying to do it, that we got in there at the wrong time and just got in on the tail end of it when he was promoting somebody else. But we could have all done better. I think 90% of the artists today, like myself, could have been a bigger artist, a whole lot bigger artist, had Sam Phillips just looked at us and seen that we did have the talent, because we were the sound. I mean, especially my group, we were the sound, and there was nothing to hold us back except no promotion, and we didn't get it. So that's really, in my opinion, that's what happened to Sun Records as a whole, because when Jerry Lee came in, and Sam and Jerry Lee was going so big, and everybody else was sidetracked. Jerry Lee then went to England and made the big splash in England, which caused a lot of controversy. And then from that day on, Sun Records just started going away. And from that time, there was no more Sun Records.
He was the kind of guy who put all his eggs in one basket, I guess.
And then I think when he saw this, he wished he hadn't probably after that. But Sam Phillips was a very unique person. Sam and I were great friends and also great enemies. We were two. It was like love and war. He and I probably had more words than anyone between him and any other artist, but we respected each other. I respected his talent, he respected my talent. He just didn't do anything with my talent. Yeah. He could have done more with me, Sonny Burgess, with whoever, But that's water under the bridge, and it's just people don't know this, so people really don't know what went on at Sun Records, and I'm hoping to let a lot of people see all the things. I'm doing a book. I've been on this book a long time, but I'm hoping to get it out. I planned on it this year, but I don't know. Books go.
too many trips to Europe and
Too many-
move and all that kind of and
Gosh,
a new wall.
I tell you, we've been keeping the skies hot.
I bet that's what your
Yeah.
wife said. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like it. That's a neat experience, though. That's good. Well, what about? I mean, you said that you were all just young guys having fun and playing music and partying. I guess what maybe would be your best memory in Memphis recording studio? What do you like to look back on?
There is so many. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things. We always enjoyed the sessions because that was a good time for us to all get in the studio and get drunk. And that's the only time. I mean, every session I was ever on in there, everybody in the studio was almost passed out. You know? But that's how we got good music. It was a real soul thing. It wasn't. None of our records or none of our sessions were planned at all. There was no rehearsals. There was no let's write a song for this session. We just go in there, set up, start jamming and drinking Thunderbird, you know. And we'd come out with a good session, and sometimes not come out at all.
It's amazing what that
But-
Thunderbird can do sometimes.
I think the best memories is just that we were all good friends back in those days, and we just having a party. I don't think there's any one thing that I could put my finger on that said was one great memory out of Sun Records, you know, that I could really elaborate on.
What's your favorite recording you ever made there?
Pardon?
What's your favorite recording you made there?
That I made a little song called "One More Time," and that was the closest thing to a blues record that I did on Sun Records. And matter of fact, I just released an album, a CD, and the title song is "One More Time." It's an old song written by some blues artist. I don't know, it must have been 50, 60 years ago. But it was one of my favorites. Now, the ones that did best for me there was Red Hot and Flying Saucer Rock and Roll. Those are the two, I guess you could call signature songs there. That's what I'm known by.
Yeah. What kind of impact now, looking back? I mean, at the time you were just enjoying yourselves. What now that you look back? I mean, what kind of impact do you think you personally made on music, the future of music?
I think we made probably. I know we did. We not only myself, but including me. I think we made a major impact. I mean, our sound is still out there. I mean, in bits and pieces. I mean, there's major artists out there right now that talk about our sound. That talk about me or some artists there. They remember this, and like Springfield. Bruce Springsteen. I get two guys mixed up. Bruce Springsteen made a statement that he cut his teeth on Flying Saucer Rock and Roll, because he was just a young boy, you know. And of course, Bob Dylan he made the statement that I was his hero. That that was one of the favorite artists, his favorite artist from Sun Records. And One More Time happened to be his favorite song too. So I think that we made a great impact. It's a shame that we're not really getting recognized. We don't get the recognition today at all. And I can blame a lot of this on Memphis, not as a whole, but it's the music Memphis part of Memphis. That when they do anything big in Memphis, the only thing they think they think about the blues, which is great. I love the blues, and they should. Memphis, man, should have the name as the Blues City. But then when they come to the 50s, they skip that, and they go into the 60s, into the Stax area, and they just leave us out. I mean, we're not getting any recognition at all of that. When they talk about the big, just like now, this thing that's going on now, where this 50th anniversary of rock and roll, you know, like I think the chairman or somebody or the representative of our music is not one of us. It's the guy from NSYNC, Justin Timberlake. Now he's there. He wasn't even born, you know. I mean, I don't think he has a right to represent us, you know. And I think if they were going to have somebody representing our era, they should have got somebody from it. Now they have Scotty Moore. But Scotty wasn't the only guy around back in those days. You know, Scotty was Elvis, and after he left Sun, I mean, he was gone. You know, then we were there I was there until 1960. So the things we did do not get any recognition at all, and that's the one thing that I'm a little upset about as far as Memphis. I don't know if I don't think it's a deliberate thing. I just think they're uneducated on the 50s era of music there, the histories that I think we was the greatest history impact that could happen to Memphis. The 50s, man, this was the greatest time in music. This was the great change of music. I mean, a fantastic change. But nobody ever talks about us, you know.
Well, we'll talk about you.
I'm talking. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate and I do interviews, but
sure.
It has to be usually when you do an interview, it has to be something going on that actually we don't get a part in. And when it comes to the money time, we're forgotten. I mean, it's, you know, like if they want to do something and they're going to spend a lot of money, then they call in people that wasn't even a part of our thing, and which hurts me a little bit, you know, that they can't remember us at all, you know, and until something special comes up, and then we don't get the graveyard. We just, you know, which is all right.
It really does sound like that Memphis really was ground zero for
It was.
the new sound.
It was definitely, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should have been in Memphis. I mean, there's a lot of things Memphis should have got, but Memphis has always been a political town and not a music town. I mean, like Nashville, they saw that their revenue was going to be in music, and they got behind it, and they used it, and they're still using it. Memphis never did do that, you know. I mean, Memphis has always been political rather than get behind something like music, you know. I mean, they know what happened there, but they really are not that educated as to how it happened or why it happened, you know. And there's nobody telling them.
Why? That's a good point. Why do you think it did happen? Why was the time right? Why were all the guys, I mean, you and all the other guys there, what about it made it right?
That is a question I don't think anyone can really answer. I think that well, it's like in any time. People get tired of one thing. Now, the 40s music, the big band, it's fantastic. I love it. But it was around for so long and so long. And there was, you had Frank Sinatra and all these guys, all of them doing the same thing. And it just took something. There was a time in the world that it had to change. I don't think anybody can really answer that. It's just a thing that happened, and we happened to be there. We were just lucky to be there. I don't know how to really answer that question.
Yeah, it's Stan Kessler and J.M. Van Eaton. Stan Kessler said maybe J.M. Van Eaton said, I think it was a God thing, and Stan Kessler made a similar comment. You know, like it was some other, you know, supernatural kind of, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, they both.
I don't think that's the answer either. I don't think it. I really don't think that's it.
It's just the right place at the right time.
I think if God had anything to do with it, He'd done it different. He wouldn't have let us be such party mongers. I think it was just a time in life, a change, and just like there's always a change. There's a change, you know. We're in a change right now, but nobody knows what direction they're going. You know, we didn't know then what direction we were going. We were just there, and it just happened. And I think that's the only answer I could give. I don't think it was a planned thing. Nobody planned it. Nobody had any idea. Sam Phillips didn't plan it. He just lucked into it, just like we did. You know, we didn't. He wasn't out there looking for anything special. It just came. Everything he got just came to him. We just came there. You know, it wasn't a discovery thing at all until we got there. You know. And a lot of the guys did go in there for auditions, but he didn't call them in. I mean, they went there hoping that he would listen to them, you know. And some of them he did, and some of them he didn't. And a lot of them he wished he had, you know. But it's a it was a strange time, but a good time. One of the best times in my life. I mean, I'm glad I was a part of it. Not necessarily just the music part. I'm glad I was part of the '50s because that was just an easy, laid-back time. There was a lot of problems, but they all got worked out.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't fast as this day. Boy, I tell you, my age, it's hard to keep up with all these. But I work them down. I tell you, on the stage, when I get on the stage with all these young guys in Europe, man, I work them out.
Yeah.
They're not used to that.
Huge following in Europe too of all this. I mean, I think that Europe appreciates it more than we do.
Europe is fantastic. I love going over there. I mean, it's a job. It's not as much fun now as it was 22 years ago when I started. But the fans are fantastic over there. They treat you great. The money's good. I don't know, and you feel like when you go over there, you're just stepping back in history. You go out on those stages and you get the same reception that you got here in '57, '58, screaming, and the kids hollering and screaming. You know, I've done shows over there when I couldn't hear my voice through the whole show. You know, screaming noise. But that's okay.
That's something.
This show's just happening.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know where it's going to go from here. I really don't. I think music right now is really, really in a ditch. Because the country music, which is not really country, it's more or less cosmopolitan country, it's getting out of hand. I mean, it's not music anymore. It's not the music they're selling. It's the actual guy or the girl. That's what they said, the person. That it's the music is not, because some of the music is just not, does not rate what it is getting. You know? I can't see that music doing as good as it's doing. It's not that. One guy said in Nashville, he said, the way to make it in Nashville is when you come to town, they'll throw you in a big room with a lot of hats. And if one of them fits you, you're a star. You know, so that's about it. You know, it's not your talent.
You know that
whether the hat fits or not.
I interviewed Little Milton last week, and he really kind of had the same thing to say about the direction that music has taken now that it's really not.
Well, I think all of us that take music serious. Now, I take music very serious. I'm so serious about it that, you know, if it don't change somewhat, I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to retire and get away from it completely because it's just stagnated right now. But I think people like Little Mel and people that really are trying to use music as a means of living now. I mean, this is my living. You know, this is my only income is music. You know, but I think we see it different than some of the guys that are just doing it for fun. You know, if they're just doing it for fun, they don't see any faults with it. They say, hey, I just go out there and do a show, and we get paid. That's fine. If we don't, you know, that's all right too. But that's not the way it is with me. You know, I mean, in the '50s, we played all that time free. Most of the time, we didn't get paid. You know, and I feel like I've paid those dues, and it's time now for somebody to pay me, or else don't hire me. You know, don't call me for a job if I'm not worth paying. You know, and I know that's happened a lot of times. And a lot of times, there's times when you can do it. There's times when you need to do charity work, and I will do it. You know, but not to feed the fat cat. You know, I don't mind. You know, I don't like to make him fatter. You know, I'm a little different with all this music than most people. It's like that. It's my job.
Yeah.
It's a job. It's not.
Sure.
It's not a hobby.
Yeah. It's a job, it's not an adventure, right?
That's right.
Guys, can y'all think of anything that you would want to ask before we wrap it up? I mean, looking back at Son, and y'all think of anything I missed that you were wondering about?
Any interesting experiences that you had?
Beg pardon?
Any interesting experiences you had while recording that you can talk about?
That you can talk about, yeah.
Well, actually, in the studio, there's been times that there was almost fist fights in there because people getting mad at each other. But I think the only, you know, I was talking a while ago about when we recorded drinking our Thunderbird wine. Matter of fact, we did Sonny Birch and I did a song called Thunderbird, and that's why we did it, because we were drunk on Thunderbird wine. But I was doing a session one night. I was playing banjo for somebody. I don't remember who. Jack Clemens had brought somebody in, and I fell off my stool. I was playing banjo, and I got to drinking so much that I just went completely off my stool down into the floor. And that brought on a few laughs, you know. But most of the time in the studios, there wasn't that much excitement going on. The excitement was our music, was about it, you know. And we did love to get in and just jam, you know. And sometimes we'd stay in there all night and not get anything. And sometimes we'd go in there and first cut, we had a song, we had a record. It was not like it is today. I've done sessions today, you know, that's all planned out, everything. It's just got to be right. You work 3 hours and that's it, you know. Back then there was no clock. We didn't worry about that. But there was a lot of experiences on the road, and then some of them I can't talk about. But I will write about them.
They're going to be in your book.
They're going to be. There's a lot of things. I've read a lot of books about the 50s. I've read a lot of the books on some of the artists, and I don't know where they're getting it from, but they're leaving a lot of stuff out and putting a lot of stuff in there that I didn't see happen in those days, you know. I think that I'm going to try to straighten them up. Try to straighten them up. I don't know. I may not be able to. You know, I know that the first trip I took to England, I was being interviewed at BBC, and Stuart Coleman, he'd say, "Now, Billy Lee, I understand this happened or that happened," and it was not anything that happened, you know. I'm saying, where are you getting all this stuff? Well, what happened, these writers came over in the late 60s. I can't remember the names now, how much I like them. But they came over and interviewed all of us, and they took those small interviews and made stories out of them. And they started adding and adding and adding and adding, and until they had it's so out of proportion that, you know, I don't even know what they're talking about a lot of times when they ask me. They had me playing all of my instruments on my first record, which I would have had to play 5 or 6 instruments. And at that time, we didn't even have it one single track, and you could not overdub, so there was no way of overdubbing an instrument. But those people believe that. They put in these books, and this is what the fans are believing now, all these lies, which I don't like. You know. I think that I want it to be when my grandchild reads the history of rock and roll, they get to write, they hear it right, you know, and not a bunch of stories, which I don't know if it matters or not, but that's the way I feel.
Well, that's great. I'll be interested to see your book come out. What's it called? What's the book?
Well, right now we got a working title called Red Hot and Trouble Bound, and that fits me pretty good.
Well, great. I'll look forward to that.
Pardon?
I'll look forward.
Well, I think when it comes out, it's going to be a very interesting book. I think it's. I've already talked to some publishers. I haven't made any deals, but I've also talked to the one gentleman about maybe making a film out of it. So that might be in the works.
Well, you know, this Johnny Cash film that they're starting work on, I guess that might help to even generate more interest in doing something like that. That'd be great. Probably
if it's done right, you know.
Yeah.
The Hollywood's got a strange way of doing playing the parts, you know. It's Great Balls of Fire movie. Jerry Lee is.
I never saw that.
I don't know what. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
saw
where they
that.
got that story from, but I don't remember none of that.
Wonder what he would say about that. Have you talked to him about it?
I think Jerry Lee is just like most people. If he's making money, it's all right with him.
Yeah.
If it makes him look good, he's all right.
Do you know one of the ladies that work? You can wrap up if you want. One of the ladies at work. This is not even anything relating to music, but one of the ladies at work. I live not far from where Jerry Lee Lewis lives, a couple streets over, and another lady from work does too. And somebody she knew was staying at his house a few weeks ago, and she went up. She thought that she'd hit the buzzer to get somebody to answer her, you know, and say, "I'm here to see something." And she hit the button, and the gate opened up, and his dogs all came running out.
Oh, boy. Wow.
She said she got in the car and drove away because she didn't want them to know she let his dogs out.
Jerry Lee Lewis's dogs, man.
Yeah, she said Rottweilers Rottweilers and German Shepherds and all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff came running for her, so she got back in her car fast.
Jerry Lee and came along at a good time. Everything that happened to Jerry, I don't blame Jerry Lee. I never blamed Jerry for the fact that he came in and Sam and him got together and he was the one picked. That's fine. I always blame Sam for it. Jerry came along at a good time, but there was also, you know, you don't just pass up people like Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, Carl Perkins for some other guy that you don't even know. And when Jerry Lee was playing in my band and playing on the record, Sam didn't even know his name. He called him the piano player. That's all he knew him by. You know, the piano player. I want you to do this. You know, but the thing about it is, why could? And I asked Sam this, and he never could give me an answer. The only answer he ever gave me was, well, I only have two hands, but, you know, two hands can handle more than one artist. And because of that, he lost some of the best artists that he had, Johnny Cash and Carl and Roy. Because you see what they've all done since they left Sun, man. They became major artists.
Right.
And
maybe he just didn't. He must not have known how to handle it.
I don't think. I think he was. I think with Sam Phillips, Sam was the regional. He was okay as long as he was in his territory.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was quite ready to step out into the deep water and start competing with major labels and all this. I think that was a little bit something he wasn't ready to do, you know. But Sam and I were good friends and good enemies. and I still love him today. That's the way it goes.
I guess it is, yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. It's so nice to meet you.
Hope you got something you can use.
Oh, I think so. I'm really thinking about turning all this into. I'd love to turn it into some kind of a documentary or something. I think it's so interesting that, like you say, the big draw for your music now, the big market for your music is Europe. Why is it not here? You know.
Yeah.
And why, like the Sun Studios, you'll be there in a couple of weeks for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake is going to be there. Why?
Yeah.
Who is he? You know,
he's a Mouseketeer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. See, I don't understand
He's
these things.
probably born. How old is he? He's younger than I am.
But Memphis is thinking about money.
I think his mother was even born in '56.
See,
Probably not.
they're not thinking music. They're thinking politics again.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know. If you're gonna do something, get somebody with a big name. Don't get somebody that was there, you know. For goodness sakes, don't bring Billy Riley in. He was one of them. You know.
Yeah.
He may
Well,
tell
it's
the
just-
truth about something.
That's just
you know.
amazing. It's like they, you know, this past New Year's, they wanted Dick Clark to have something here in Memphis because of the 50th anniversary of rock and roll, and they taped something and used it in the show, but I think they offered him like B.B. King or somebody they were going to have performing for it, and they weren't going to take it. They ended up getting Justin Timberlake, and then Dick Clark took it. Why would Dick Clark? I mean, he
Dick
was
Clark.
around too, you know? I mean, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Boy,
I don't know, man.
Well,
He
yeah.
obviously, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I have a little bit too much of an appreciation for
That's
history.
just the way people think. Even Newport does that. Port Fest, it's a big festival.
Uh-huh.
One year the theme was 50s rock and roll.
Yeah.
They had Sonny and Billy living in the same town. They went and got an imitator.
Yeah, they got a young
Now,
guy.
what about that for ignorance? I mean, how stupid can you get? They had two originals. They went and got a guy that wants to sound like somebody else and play. Now, that's something. Pay him the big bucks.
I wonder who they got. Do you know the guy's name?
Yeah, what is his name? I can't even think of it now.
Not Wendell.
No, I can't think of that. I've seen his name.
I can't think
But
of it.
was the guy in Little Rock
that's
that was-
what's happening. They don't recognize us for who we are. The only time they recognize us at all is when something like this, 50th anniversary of rock and roll,
Right.
and then they go around looking for all these guys in the woodwork so they can find out.
But see,
You know,
when-
why don't they just go get Timberlake
Yeah.
and all those guys and tell them, give them the stories, you know.
I told Billy before y'all got here today, I said, when all is said and done about the 50s music and Sun Records, it's not Jerry Lee that's going out and promoting. He's not going to go out and do his old Sun stuff. Johnny Cash wouldn't have done his old. Billy and them's the ones that's going out and doing their original Sun stuff. That's what the fans want to hear in Europe.
Yeah.
It's not these Justin. It's not them people, but that's not about
When
how
it,
they,
can, when it comes to Memphis, they
Yeah.
just they don't know who you are. Man.
well, they
just,
tore down Stax Records. I mean, you
And
know,
they
how
did
silly
turn
can you
the
get?
light
Yeah.
back around and
Yeah, I
Tore
mean,
down.
That's Memphis.
Well, you know,
for
Sun
you.
Studio
That's what I say though. That's politics.
Sun Studio
Memphis
was one
Memphis
day away
tears
from the
down
bulldozer.
historical spots.
Really, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Sun
Look what they
Studio
did to the Ellis Auditorium,
They're
man.
tearing it
They
down.
tore down a very important piece of Memphis there. Ellis Auditorium, man.
Yeah.
There's no more Ellis Auditorium. They go around and find all the historical spots and they rip them out.
Then they tear them down.
I
And
mean-
they build museums.
I mean, Stax Records,
parking
yeah,
lot.
they built another thing there, but that's not Stax Records. That's never going to be Stax Records. You know? Never.
Well, that's
They
why I
should
told
have had that
you
little.
the Sun Studio was one day away from the bulldozer
Yeah,
before it was rescued. Somebody, you know.
and it's still not being handled right. They've changed it into a
It's a tourist attraction.
tourist attraction,
Well,
and
and
it
you
shouldn't
see,
be just that. You know?
When the first time I ever went in Sun Studio, it's been years ago, you would have never known he recorded there.
Really.
There was not one single picture, picture like U2 and all this kind of.
Right.
And I got onto the guy that was running it then, and I said, how come you? Well, if you'll send me some stuff, I'll make sure it gets up on the wall. So I did. I still had to fight with him and get it. You know.
To get them to put it up.
Yeah. I said, if
Is
anybody
that
walks
Gary
in.
Hardy?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's him.
That's him.
He doesn't have anything to do with it.
No.
No.
He is the guy that I think, my understanding was he's the guy that came up with the idea of Sun Studios.
Is he?
Yeah.
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 The marketing.
That's my
Yeah.
understanding. I'm not 100% sure. He's the one who came up with it, but then he
Well, the
had a
Sun's
coke
running it
problem
now.
and then lost it for I heard.
Well, the
That's just
IRS
rumor. That's
closed
what
it.
I heard.
IRS closed it for a while.
Oh.
Oh,
They
okay.
padlocked
Yeah,
the doors.
yeah.
But
They had
Gary Hardy was. I don't know what he was doing with
Not
the
paying
money,
his
but
taxes anyway.
There's some
Yeah.
things on.
yeah, it almost went
But see,
down.
Memphis only moves on something at a certain time. You know, I mean, it's like it has to be
You have to
something
listen.
special. It has to have something. They don't know what to do
Timely
after
and-
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me
But
give you
but to
another.
have
They can't
Justin
listen to anybody
Timberlake,
from town. They can't listen to any. And the only reason they care about Justin Timberlake is because
Oh, he's
everybody
world
else.
known.
yeah.
Yeah.
But see, why? You know, I don't
Well,
care about Justin Timberlake.
It's not personal.
Now they called me.
No.
No.
We worked with
They
him.
called me about and sent me an email. Said, we want you to be one of the ambassadors. Well, at that time I thought, okay, but then when I found out who was in charge, and I told them I didn't want to do it.
Who was in charge?
I mean, who was going to be
Justin
who they were looking
Timberlake.
for
Who was the
represent?
main?
Justin Timberlake, and I said, I sent an email back to him. I said, I don't know where you guys are coming from. I said, what's he got to do with 50s music?
Right.
And he's like the head dude.
He doesn't have anything to do with
And also,
Memphis
Huh.
or any music, but
I also told him, I said, this is a good time, man, to get the Sun artists that are left. We ain't gonna be here long. Get them, now is the time. Let them shine. This is their time. This is what they're celebrating, the birth of rock and roll. Our birth, which we're not getting any part of it. Those crap they got in Memphis that we come over and do, we do it for nothing, to help the
Well,
cause.
look at Neris.
But people like Timberlake ain't doing it for nothing. They don't move without getting paid.
Right.
All right, what was it? What, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when Neris did that thing and they give Sam, the big award or something.
Yeah.
They used all these guys. They had Sonny Burgess and Billy, and I don't know who all they had from that era of music. They had them as presenters to give people who were barely old enough to be playing music awards. And I said, the least that
Oh my
Neris
God.
could have done was, and I don't care, it didn't take much to write out on a piece of paper, we appreciate your contribution to music, and had it Xeroxed at someplace. Kinko's.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything, some kind of honorary thing.
We didn't get nothing,
They
but
didn't
had
get
to play
nothing. I
free.
said, the least Neris
Oh
could have
my
done.
gosh, you got nothing at all.
They was presenters
Mm.
expected to be the black tie presenters to give kids that was, like I said, just punk.
They didn't give you like a gift.
No.
from
We've
them?
never got
We got
anything.
nothing.
We were.
We don't even
I
have hotel rooms
presented.
out of it.
I presented.
Oh my gosh.
I was
They
a
don't, they, don't,
presenter.
they don't respect these guys. That's why we don't do nothing else for Neris.
Right.
That's it. After that, I said they could at least, if it wasn't nothing but a fake certificate, said we appreciate your guys' contribution. Here's your award.
They called me. I was out on the road. We were in
We
California.
were in El
somewhere.
Paso, Texas, coming back from California.
And we got to have you on this thing, man. You got to, cause you're part of it. What's it pay? Nothing. Just for contribution. Okay, we'll do it. And we get up there, man, and we're giving all of our time and effort,
A whole performance.
and nobody is even recognizing us as who we are. I mean,
Like I said,
nobody even said
it's
thanks.
been a dummy award, you know, just anything.
So we were up
So,
there
not that he'll
presenting orders, other people are awards that had nothing to do with what we were doing.
That's so weird. I mean, I used to be a news anchor when I was a news anchor in Little Rock, and I'd go be like a judge at something or something. They'd always give you some little
Yeah,
list
some
to be in
honorary
there.
mention, you know,
Some-
this thing
or-
showed up.
I've got a little clock that's on my
Yeah,
in my bathroom actually that I got at one of those events. It's just a cheap little clock, but it was a
yeah, it's a
nice
token.
enough thing. Yeah, it was something. I
Well,
could
like when
really-
he goes to perform to the Lions Club or something like that, they give you a little certificate of
Yeah, yeah.
appreciation.
Sure.
But
Nice.
here he is. I mean, like I said, this is the big black tie formal affair. Sam Phillips gets his big awards coming and going. All these other groups, the Artist of the Year, these guys don't even get a thank you. And I said,
And
but
then
you
they
know,
have a
Neris
big
needs to
dinner.
call me. Neris
Then,
needs-
then they have a big dinner
yeah, if you don't even invite.
honoring the winners, and we wasn't even invited to
Wasn't
the
even
dinner.
You
invited.
are kidding.
No, wasn't
Oh,
even invited.
we did not get invited.
They threw him a big catered dinner and we wasn't even invited.
Yeah,
Isn't
we
that
wasn't
nice?
invited after doing all what we did.
So that's why Neris, I have no respect for Neris now.
My gosh, no kidding.
You know.
That's horrible.
Oh, you don't know what's going on. See,
Yeah.
this is why I'm writing this book, because nobody's telling it. None of the other. I don't know if nobody knows what, even paid any attention back in those days. But I know artists today that don't pay any attention to this. They don't care. Hey, man, I just want to get on that stage, be a part of it. Be a
Right.
part of what? What are you a part of? You know,
Right.
you're a part of somebody kicking you in the face. You know, and that's
Yeah.
about what it is. You know, you know, we didn't go out in the '50s to create history. We didn't know it. I mean, I admit we didn't do it, but we did it unknowingly.
Unknowingly, yeah.
We are the founders of what is going on right now. I don't care who you are. You'll be the biggest artist.
But
We
what-
started it. It may not be nothing like that.
Rufus Thomas didn't care.
He
to put
didn't care
sound
to
in his
tell you.
place.
Rufus not a good
I
friend.
admired Rufus for that.
Yeah.
He, on that documentary, that Good Rockin', he said
Yes.
that Sam Phillips wasn't the innovator of nothing. I mean, and
He-
that's it.
Hey, Rufus.
He was. He's
But
not
see,
tough.
this
All
is
the
what
other artists
what
got
has
pushed
happened.
out.
What has happened,
So-
even in Europe, because of these writers. Even we don't get. It's like Sam Phillips, and God rest his soul. There's nothing. I
Right.
said this when he was alive to this way. Sam Phillips is getting all the credit for what we did, and Sam didn't even know any more about what he was doing than what we knew. We were all in there as experimental thing. He was a part of it, but he didn't. He wasn't in control. Even the artists believe, you know, well, if it hadn't been for Sam Phillips, we wouldn't have been here. I don't believe that at all. You
Well,
know,
Tell him.
I mean, there were other labels. Sam Phillips wasn't the only
Yeah.
label. He
That's
just
where
happened.
Right.
he made his mistake. When he realized Sam was going to mess him around like that, he just should have walked off. He could have went with Dick Clark. Dick
Yeah.
Clark had set up a
The
section for him. He
RCA.
could
I
have
had
went with Dick Clark.
offers from everybody, but I respected Sam. I was
Sam was
in.
a con artist. That's what it said. Sam was a con.
Yeah, he did. He
could
charmed
charm.
me.
He
He
could
did,
charm.
and he knows it. He knew it.
Yeah.
He knew
He
it.
was a charmer.
He knew it. He said it. He knew it. He admitted it.
Yeah,
You know.
he admitted that he needed Billy Band. That was
Yeah.
the sound.
I like
Yeah.
that quote. I do not regret selling Elvis's contract.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now see,
Let me
I
tell you.
only wanted $30,000 when I could have 20 million.
See, Sam,
right.
Sam didn't know what he had in Elvis.
Well,
That's
let me
the reason
tell
he
you.
sold him. He
Yeah.
didn't. He had no idea that. Well, and he wouldn't have if he'd have stayed on the sun.
Elvis may have died out with the rest
There
of
wouldn't
y'all.
have
he may
been.
have.
He
There
may
wouldn't have
just
been
fizzled
no
out.
big Elvis
Because if you don't have
phenomenon.
that promotion, I mean, that's true in
I don't care
any
who you
business.
are.
If you don't have the promotion,
If you're selling
then you're not going to make it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
candy bars, if
In
you don't
any-
promote it, somebody
exactly.
don't know you got them for sale.
Right.
You can't sell them.
Right.
And
Well, I'll
that-
tell you another guy, you want to talk about a big royal screw up. When they did this documentary, The Good Rockin' Tonight,
Mm-hmm.
it got sold to American Masters. Guess who didn't get no money out of it?
Really?
But we were told, he's filming all this stuff.
For me.
Are you,
We were told, before we ever started the thing, you're gonna get X amount of dollars for doing the doc, and this is gonna be your Billy said, "Is this going to be another Sam Phillips story?" He said, "No, this is your documentary. We want you to tell your side of the story."
Now, this
Or
wasn't
as
the
an artist.
Smithsonian
No,
one.
no.
This is the, yeah.
He said, "We want you to tell your side of the story. This is your day. You tell it." Fine, we agreed to it. X amount of dollars, world tour, going to record with Aerosmith. The day they started shooting, the guy said, "Well, I have a little problem. We don't have any money." So, when all was said and done, Sam Phillips got $100,000?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
$100,000 up front, plus a percentage of the documentary. This guy's got zero.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, we got a little bit, but not.
What'd you get?
Well, we got. They give us a little bit.
Not, what, a
Passing.
fraction, a fraction of
Oh,
what?
yeah, it wasn't anything at all like we were promised. And we didn't get, and it wasn't our show. It still
Right,
turned out
it's
to
his
be
show.
another Sam
Yeah.
Phillips documentary, you know. And we were on there, and I got to say a few things which I've been wanting to say. I'd been saying for years, and nobody would believe me. But I got to say it to Sam,
Yeah.
and he couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's on record now. What I said was true.
Right.
And they said he got
Right.
very upset about it.
Yeah,
He
he
called
got-
the producers of the show after seeing the final thing on it. He called it, said, why is that in there? He said, well, said, Sam, you didn't refute it. Said you had your opportunity right there on camera to deny that, and you didn't do it, so
yeah.
we're leaving it in.
Yeah.
Did you didn't
That's just,
deny that?
I
Billy
mean,
was
it's just,
sitting there saying
what it
that?
amounts to is just the 50s artists, not just me. I'm not
Yeah.
just talking,
Right,
I'm
right,
talking
I
the
know.
whole, the
Whether you
50s.
black or white, what color are you?
Yeah,
You
we
got
all are getting the shaft, and we got it then, and we're getting it now, and we're still getting it. I mean, we're not even able to live our part of the history.
Right.
We're kicked out by modern artists. It's taking our place of what we did. We did it, but we're not getting credit.
And
for
they're
it.
benefiting from it. Yeah.
The only credit we get is like right now, we're talking to you and telling you about it, say. But as far as something being done about it, when they have a big show in Memphis, they'll call us. I've been trying to get on some of these shows that they're having, some of the big shows. They won't even talk to
He
me.
tried to get on the Elvis thing in August.
They're nice to me, but they won't. They
Elvis
won't.
did his private parties for him.
See, Elvis and
New
I
Year's parties.
went back, you know, and they got Scotty Moore and James Burton and all these guys. And I said, look here, I worked with Elvis, worked for him, and, you know, was a friend
Yeah.
to a certain standard.
Right.
But, and I was a son record, why don't you have somebody on the show that was one of the originals, you know, that can really do the show and do it right.
Yeah.
And they won't do it. They will not hire people like us. I mean, they will if we'll do it for nothing,
Right.
you know. Just like stuff we do in Memphis, there's no money in it. We don't do it for money.
Golly.
But this is the last time.
Yeah.
There won't be
This
no
sun
more.
thing, you mean on the 4th? Yeah.
This is the last freebie Memphis
Last
gets.
hurrah. Yeah.
Last
Golly.
freebie Memphis
Have
gets.
you know, the Johnny Cash movie that's coming out, and there have been other movies, as you said. Have you ever had your character in a movie, somebody play you? I wonder if they
paid one
will in
time.
Johnny Cash.
They paid one.
Yeah, they paid me to
use
have
your-
one time, but
Jerry Lee's movie,
in
they
the
did.
Great Balls of Fire, but it never made it. I got paid for it, but I was never in there.
Have you ever been in a movie as an actor?
I have never been an actor. I've been. I was in a movie.
As yourself?
A small movie, budget movie
Well,
called Speed Lovers, and I did this.
Speed?
I did a stage act on there. And
what was it called?
Speed Lovers.
Speed Love.
Yeah, it was a race movie. It was I forget the
Race
guy.
cars.
What
Yeah.
year?
1968.
68. Speed Love.
I was in Harriet's show once.
Oh, were you really?
Did a skit on there.
Yeah.
It's a one-man band.
When he was on the other show, Steve Allen.
Yeah, I did Steve Allen. He did his last Tonight Show.
Did you really?
I closed
Oh,
him.
wow.
It was a good, real good
How
show.
neat. Yeah.
There's a lot. When I was in LA, I had a lot of chances, but still, it just never happened.
Mhm.
I had a chance to be in that How the West Would Won.
Really?
Had a good chance to get in. I turned it my business over to somebody else handling it. They goofed it all up, and I lost that. So it's just a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of
You
things
know,
that
a lot of things
didn't
happen.
compute correctly, I guess. Yeah. Golly. Well,
Didn't compute
I
correctly.
wonder. I wonder if you'll have a character in the John. I wonder if there'll be your
I
character
doubt
in
it.
Johnny Cashmere.
I'd bet you 10 to 1. You know.
That'd be interesting. I'd love to see though what
I
somebody
bet
thought
you
of the
that.
character.
But Johnny, see, I traveled a lot. We did a lot of work with Johnny back, well, in the 50s.
Yeah.
We traveled as a Sun Package. We called Sun Package. Johnny Roy and Carl and Jerry Lee and myself and Sonny. I've never worked the shows with Sonny back in those days, but we all worked the same stuff, you know. But I worked with Johnny. Johnny and I was once pretty close. And
Yeah.
then he went his way, I went mine, you know, this thing like that. But I don't know, Roy Orbison and I was pretty good friends as well. There's just, I don't know, it's a weird, when Sun broke up, everybody just went their own way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to be on the short end of the stick, you know,
Yeah.
and still out there trying to keep my
I
head
don't
above
know. In
the
Europe, they think you're pretty good. That's just interesting.
Yeah,
that
the
Europe is where
European
they
fans
appreciate it.
They have kept the music alive. You have to give them credit. for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they've done that. They've kept us
If you went to
alive.
a show there, you would think you're back in the 50s.
And
I
some
bet.
of
They
them,
race in the
some
clubs.
of them. But
Yeah,
now,
original cars.
a lot of them are changing over now.
They're
lot
very
of 'em.
loyal to that music.
We did the classic car show in Sweden last year, and they had about 300 cars there that would look like a showroom, come right out of the showroom, all back in the 50s, late 50s, early 50s, 40s. They were great, boy. Kind of made you feel good. But the big problem right now, and I guess it's a problem nobody seems to be acting, is the fact, like I just said, is getting recognition in Memphis. We just can't do it. And maybe it's because we don't all stick together and do something about it. Because a lot of the artists don't want to do it. You know, they're happy with where it's going.
Right.
They're happy with a few little jobs and that's it, you know. And they out promoting Sun, and Sun don't promote them. Sun don't, you know, they don't care about us.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. You know, I'm just
Well, I know it was hard. The guy who runs Sun right now, I was
John.
asking him for help finding, you know, a bunch of you, and J.M. Van Eaton came to Sun and talked to us, and then J.M. got me in touch with Stan Kessler, but I had to call Neris to get
Yeah.
phone numbers for everybody.
Well, they have our phone numbers at Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have them.
Well, John Shore never. I mean,
See,
he's
that's the
just
owner's
argued.
son now.
Yeah. Is it Jake that owns it? Who owns it?
Jim
That-
Shores?
Jim Shore. Okay, because
Yeah.
there's a Jake Shore who's in the restaurant business, and are they all related? I wonder.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know
I know that.
the son is running it now, and it's changed.
in Florida. I
up
think he lives in
since-
Florida.
Since he's took it over.
Well, he doesn't return calls and he doesn't
No.
return emails, and it can't be that hard a job.
That's Memphis. That's Memphis.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, well, thank you so much. It's been
Well,
such a
it's
pleasure.
my pleasure.
I'm enjoying this because I'm getting to meet all you and see what just wonderful, nice people
You
you
probably
are.
hear-
You know, it's just, it really is a pleasure.
All these stories are probably different. Everybody probably have a different story. I tell it the way it is. I don't care if it hurts me or anybody else. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, I definitely am not trying to protect myself on it, because I did a lot of things back then, you know, that people don't
Well,
want
but
to tell on themselves.
You don't know how to make when you're just out there having fun playing music. You're not thinking of making business decisions for heaven's sake. So, but you know, I've got a friend in Memphis who has a band, and they play at different clubs, and he does all.
Yes, I know Danny. Yeah, I
Anyway,
was just thinking about Danny.
Danny told me
He
that
likes this kind of stuff.
he's friends with Knox Phillips, Sam's son, and but he told me I was talking to him saying, why am I having such trouble getting Sun Studio to help me find these people? And he said, well,
Okay.
there's a lot that went on that you don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Phillips really did a lot of people wrong, and he kind of told me, you know, this was not an interview situation. He's a friend of mine, and I work on shows with him and stuff. But anyway, so he kind of explained it a little bit to me. I had no idea, you know.
All right.
Just,
See, these guys don't even get royalty statements from Phillips.
I know.
But see,
I know. He
the
has
bad
all
thing.
the rights to everything, which is
They're supposed to get their royalties.
yeah.
Legally, they're supposed to.
Stan Kessler does.
Yeah, because he's worked right in there with the studio. See, Billy told this story to the New York or Washington Post
Yeah.
several years ago
Mm-hmm.
about not getting the money. So the guy said, well, before we can print a story making that kind of statements, we have to call and verify the story. Well, Billy got a call from somebody that works at Phillips now.
Mhm.
And they said, you don't need to be telling that story, you're going to get us in trouble.
Well, send me a check.
Yeah, that's right. You want my
Send my
address, you know.
So you are supposed to be getting royalties,
Yes,
you just
definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Just like BMI and all those have to pay,
don't. Right.
Phillips is supposed to be paying too.
So Phillips Recording Studio, or that's in the Yellow Pages, is Knox Phillips. Is that right?
Yes,
That's his place. Because I called there trying to reach him, and he
Yeah,
never returned my call.
yeah.
No, you no.
Phillips don't own Sun Records.
Right, I knew that. I knew that. But
Well, you know,
And,
that
Shelby
that's
Singleton-
debatable, too.
Well, I
That's
don't
a-
know.
that's
Shelby
an issue about
Singleton,
this.
Sun International in Nashville is in charge of all the Sun stuff.
I see.
Now that's
They
where we're
always start-
supposed to get our record royalties from, which we're only getting a very small percentage, but our writers' royalties are supposed to come from Sam Phillips Studios. I mean,
I think the only
from
people
Knox
that work
Publishing.
right there around Phillips is getting their royalties. The rest of everybody else is getting.
Yeah, we're not nobody getting.
Now,
I never have
people that
got a
work right
state.
there in the and Stan has worked around the studio a
Yeah.
lot, and so
Yeah.
has Roland James. I think they all get
Yeah,
their money.
Roland,
I
well,
think
Roland
it
works
didn't
at the
fil-
studio.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it never filters past the people that work there.
So we don't get
Yeah,
nothing.
they don't
We
get that,
don't
not
even,
even a
Well,
statement.
but you can't do anything legally about that.
yeah, if you had the money, cost
Yeah.
you more than you can make.
Yeah.
They
We've
know
got
it too.
to-
That's why they don't worry about it.
What if y'all all got together and did a class action?
It wouldn't
It
work.
would still be- you
Number
have-
one, we'd all be dead before it come through. And, I talked to a lawyer once in California. Yeah, boy, I'll do it for you. Won't cost you anything. We'll take it on consignment. I got a letter in the mail from him wanting $10,000
A month.
front money and then $5,000 a month.
5,000 a month for
10,000.
expenses. Because you
said,
have to
"Yeah,
go
I
to
can't
Europe
pay
and
you
run down
that."
every record label that's ever had any dealings for the past 50-something years, and that's a lot of record labels.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money out there owed to me I'll never get.
See, Shelby and
Right.
Singleton is finally, they've started paying in the past, 3 or 4 years, they've started finally sending
A little
royalty
bit.
statements.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because of that story I did.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
it's
just a drop
so
in the bucket for
small.
what he's,
It's so small that I wouldn't be afraid to say, man, that if
Go buy
they
groceries
that
and
they
that's
owed
about
me
it.
over right now
You don't
with
have that.
interest and everything, they probably owe me well over $1 million. And I'll never get.
You see, number
never
one,
see it.
if the record still wasn't selling, every time you turn around, there's a new reissue of the old Sun package. It'll come out on 2 or 3 times a year. It'll be it'll be the same song, just redone with a different picture on it by different companies. If they wasn't selling, you don't keep doing that. If you put
Right.
out a record that don't
Right.
sell,
You
That's
don't
it.
do it again.
that's it.
Right.
You don't do it again. And they do this
They
every
come out
year.
every year. They sell albums every year on me. Not on me, but everybody else too, but on
Right.
me. I'm the only one I'm interested in.
Right, well, yeah, because you did
But
get
there's
those
a new
royalties.
album just came out this year, a brand new album. And
And you saw nothing from that.
same stuff, same material on it, you know, but under a different cover. And this
Different
happens
label?
2 or 3 times a year.
See, they have to
And-
pay Shelby and them several $1,000s, was it, per song just to release it?
Yeah, the people
Then they have
releasing.
to pay royalties to it.
And they pay the royalties, but Shelby don't transfer them on to us. They keep them, except for a little bit.
Little tiny.
What percentage are you supposed to get each time one of your songs is? Do you
I
know?
don't really know the percentages now, but I just know I'm supposed to be getting a heck of a lot more than I'm
I
getting.
feel like we probably get less than 1% now of anything. It's
Golly.
just nothing, you know. It beats, I guess, legally, that you can't say they don't send you anything.
Yeah, I guess that's how they.
That's how they get around it, you know. And no telling how many sets of books are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go in and do all that. There's not enough money involved, you know.
The same
There's
way,
no
you know,
money.
look at all the big artists, people like Little Richard and all them, been cheated out of their money coming and going.
Yeah, back in those days, they didn't get Chuck Berry, man.
Those
Yeah.
guys, they
Man,
don't
nobody got
tolerate it now.
No, see,
Well,
Bo Diddley, I heard, is
Yeah.
just.
see,
I tell
well,
one
Bo Diddley
problem with
he
it.
got cheated out of the Bo Diddley record was actually his. Surfing with Bo Diddley was his.
Oh, really?
Golly.
I recorded, that was my album. That was my songs. I wrote most of the songs on there in my band. And I sold it to Chester Records, and they put it on the shelf. About 4 or 5 years later, they released it. Took my guitar off and my harmonica off, put Bo Diddley's name and guitar on there, and
Wow.
released it as Bo Diddley. I didn't get no money for it.
You know, probably part of the problem is, and I'm certainly not a musician, but I've been in a more creative field, and truly most people, myself and most people that I've worked with in the creative field, we don't have a business mind. I mean, it's really hard for me to.
Yeah.
You know, my husband has been a big help to me in that because he's got a business mind, but you just don't. You don't think first what's in it for me. You think I'm really enjoying doing this.
Yeah.
You know. And so I can understand how you'd be
Well,
victimized
I
in that
didn't,
way,
you
because
know,
I would have been too, you know.
I don't claim to be a business.
So you can't do it that way though. It's just
No.
like, if
Right.
you go to Walmart, you can't go in there and say, you know, I really can't pay for it, but I really need this.
I really like this. Can I
Yeah,
have you?
yeah, can I just take it? Because that's what the music people's asking you
Right,
to do.
right.
You know, I said, we had this one, this
They're not
festival,
asking. They're just.
this festival in
Really?
Newport that pays the big country acts $75,000 to come in. I mean, it's a high dollar festival. They pay all the big acts to come in like that. They had the nerve to ask Billy, said, do it as a community service. I said, when I start getting my electric and water and all that
For free? Okay.
And Billy asked the guy,
Yeah.
because he's big in real estate, he said, do you give your houses away free? You know, he said, that's how I make my living. You know, so I don't let nobody buy anything now. I got burned so bad about that documentary. From
Right.
now on, it's business.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
It hurts
There was
somebody,
one guy
it's
did a
just tough.
documentary.
That's just
I
tough.
don't do documentaries now.
Well, if we ever do, you can say, well, you know.
But
Right. You know.
they
you got
called me from England. I mean, they were over here putting one together, and I thought I was very reasonable. I told them, I said, they told me what they wanted, and I said, you know, I'll do it for $6 grand. You know. Oh man, they liked me crazy. They couldn't.
250 is what they were offering.
But they had told me who
You're
was going to be
kidding.
on. Well, we're going to have.
$250.
We got Paul McCartney on there. We got this. And I
Paul
said,
McCartney didn't do it for
that's what I told
$250.
him. I told him after we talked, he called me over and over and over and
They
over
had
and
a
over.
lawyer to call.
Even like they tried it. He said, man, the last time they called, I told him, I said, you know, you're paying the hairdresser and people more than you're paying me. I said, finally he said, man, you got to be on this thing. You know, you're one of the legends. I said, well, legend scale is $6 grand. And I left him and I never heard no more from him. I mean, that's cheap too. You know,
Oh, that is.
if they're gonna, if they
It's
keep telling me they're not gonna make no
insult.
money, they're not gonna film that if they're not making money.
I wouldn't do a 30-second commercial. I do commercials on the air. I wouldn't do a 30-second commercial for $250.
See, you don't do that. People don't. But
And I'm not
you know when they look at us,
That's what I tell everybody.
they look at us, you know, like, well, you know, these old guys, they so old now that they be happy for somebody, and most of them are, to get on a documentary and get to film. I mean, and they'll tell you that they want to be. Yeah, I do it free. Man, I pay you. Let me go. Well, I'm not that way, because it doesn't mean that. It's not going to do that for me, you know.
Can
I'm
I tell
not.
the Jerry Lee story that it be off the record?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting ready to run out of tape.
We don't have.
Because I don't want
But
it.
I can put another tape in.
No, it's okay. I don't get
For,
it.
it's the off the record tape.
Yeah,